The Justice at Stake campaign is a national, nonpartisan partnership of more than 40 organizations, including the American Bar Association and the National Center for State Courts, who care about the independence of our courts in a free society.
What we've seen in the last 2 election cycles is a gradual escalation of the role of special interests in television campaigns, having an increasing influence on how judges are perceived and how they're selected by the people in their states.
From personal injury lawyers. Justice Resnick ruled in favor of trial lawyers who had contributed to her campaign nearly 70% of the time.
The extreme amounts of money in this year's judicial elections will only reduce public trust in the courts. Perception of corruption threatens to undermine our judicial system as it does our political system. The perception of corruption must end.
The experiences of this election, I think, is taught at least me and hopefully North Carolina that this is a very good experiment and should be replicated.
The founding fathers felt very strongly that there ought to be 3 branches. And Hamilton advised that all possible care must be requisite to enable the judiciary to defend itself.
We go out all over the world and say that the very bedrock of democracy in the United States is our justice system. And it is hard to recognize, given that it's very fragile.
Our courts today are out of control, run amok, abusive, oppressive, tyrannical, anti-constitutional, arrogant, and power-mad.
We did not wrest our freedom from the tyranny of a king over 200 years ago to hand him over to black-robed tyrannists 200 years later.
The enemies of the courts right now are abusing the concept of accountability. They're trying to explain to Americans that accountability should mean stripping the courts of powers, impeaching judges, and intimidating the bench generally.
But I think it's essential for us as judges to convey the notion that some of these attacks are really special interests trying to take over or to try to influence or affect judicial decisions for their own ideological or economic interests.
So I did not learn about the Brown decision from law school. I read it in the newspapers. I was in my 2nd year of law school at the University of Washington Law School. I don't remember my constitutional law professor even discussing it.
It's not so much that Brown has a direct impact on judicial independence as that if you didn't have judicial independence, you wouldn't be able to have a decision like Brown.
The values that people bring and what underlie their beliefs on the courts completely support a strong court system in our country. The upholding the Constitution, wanting fair and impartial courts that are free from political influence, and having access to justice, all speak to having a strong court system in this country.
Americans know their values when it comes to the courts, and they have good values. What they don't know about is the increasing tide of threats to the courts. And if all of us, judges, bar leaders, and civic leaders, don't tell them about these threats, then no one will.